Far beyond the mountains, where dragons fly and ancient magic still lingers in the air, lived two neighbors in a quiet, enchanted valley. A wise elf named Elion and a strong dwarf named Brock. They both were keepers of the land, gardeners who grew magical herbs and glowing fruits that could heal, energize, or even grant visions. Every morning at sunrise, they stepped out of their homes, Elion from his elegant treehouse woven into a silver-leaved oak, and Brock from his stone cottage carved into a hillside. Each day, they walked into their gardens, tools in hand. Brock, like most dwarves, was built like a mountain and worked with the fury of a forge. From dawn to dusk, he plowed, tilled, and harvested without pause. He believed that rest was for the weak, and that strength was the only way to master the earth. Elion, in contrast, was calm and deliberate. He worked with grace and balance. Twice a day, he would take a short break, returning to his treehouse for tea made from moon blossom petals, but he also used those moments for something else. He would enchant his tools, mend them with elven runes, and whisper spells to keep them sharp and light as air. Brock often scoffed when he saw Elion sitting on his balcony sipping tea. Elves and their rituals, he'd mutter. While he plays with words, I get things done. And so the days passed. Brock worked himself to the bone, his hammer calloused in his hand, his boots muddy and worn. Elion, on the other hand, stayed fresh, serene, and in harmony with the land. One glowing twilight, Brock stomped over to Elion's grove, wiping sweat from his brow. He had never really looked closely at the elf's garden, until now. What he saw made him freeze. The garden shimmered with magical life. Tall stalks of starcorn sparkled with blue flame. Crystalberry bushes glowed like lanterns. Healing lilies opened and closed like they were breathing. The garden pulsed with energy. Brock's jaw dropped. His own garden had half as many herbs, and many of his plants had withered from overworked soil and dull tools. Elion? The dwarf called, half confused, half frustrated. Elion appeared, descending from a spiral staircase of vines. Yes, my friend, he said with a warm smile. Brock scratched his beard. This makes no sense. I toil day and night. I haven't taken a break in weeks. You, meanwhile, rest twice a day and even sing to your tools. Yet, look at your garden. It's alive, and mine looks like a battlefield. Elion walked over and offered Brock a glowing crystalberry. Try it. The dwarf bit into it and let out a small gasp. By the forge, that's divine! Elion chuckled softly. Brock, you are strong. Your effort is admirable, but effort alone cannot unlock the deeper gifts of the land. The earth responds not just to muscle, but to intention, to care. He held up a slender silver spade, etched with glowing runes. Every time I rest, I restore my energy. But more importantly, I restore my tools. I sharpen them, enchant them, align them with the garden's energy. When I return, I don't just dig, I dance with the earth. Brock frowned slightly, then looked at the heavy, cracked hoe in his hand. He had never even cleaned it, let alone sharpened it. Are you saying I've been doing it wrong? He asked. Elion shook his head kindly. No, you've been doing it the hard way, but there's a wiser way. The next day, for the first time in his life, Brock took a break. He sat on a stone bench, listening to the wind in the trees. Then, using Elion's advice, he cleaned his hammer, whispered his clan's ancient words to it, and used a sharpening stone blessed by the valley spirits. From that day on, Brock's garden flourished. His back ached less, his tools gleamed, and he even caught himself humming elven tunes as he worked. And sometimes, when the light was just right, you could see a dwarf and an elf, side by side, tending to the enchanted earth together. Moral of the story. In the magical world or not, it's not enough to work hard. True growth comes from working wisely. Rest, sharpen your tools, and let wisdom guide your strength.